This week, we take our Mucho Ralph Macchio marathon on the road to discover the blues the only way white boys know how, by bothering an old black man until they relent. Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Half-Ass Movie Podcast, a show where we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Portress, and joining me today, he's a son of a bitch, but he's okay. Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet.
Okay, this is going to take a bit, and there's a beat in there, so don't cut me off. Ready? Mm-hmm. Finally, a movie that isn't afraid to tell it like it is. The Devil is a Black Man.
And this week, Bruce Leslie rolled up his sleeves on his blazer. He headed out on the road this week to find another gig, I think. Wasn't that the greatest thing that we did in the 80s and stuff? We were just like, you know what this blazer needs? I need my God, man, my wrists are so hot. I got to roll these bad boys up so everybody gets an invitation to the gun show.
And Macchio is just killing it with that rolled up sleeves and the t-shirt on with the blazer. Just killing it.
Clearly father's blazer, because it is so huge on him.
But that's the style, my friend. I can tell you, I used to buy like triple X, quadruple X shirts, like plaid shirts, and wear them. And it was literally like, you know, I'm a big person, as we were saying on the on the pre-show, but like you wear a 4X, like. And you're like a string bean skinny person, like it looks like you're wearing Papa's clothes. Like it's ridiculous. Well, but it was the style at the time.
Which was the style at the time. In the 90s, like I was a fat kid, so I had a problem because everybody was wearing giant baggy pants and sagging and everything. So like all my fat clothes are gone because everybody's having a great time with their style. I'm like, damn it. My fat butt's trying to get into stuff, and they're just like, oh, these levels are out, but all the skinny things are there. I'm like, what, am I supposed to get in shape? No.
I don't think so.
I'm waiting to my 40s for that.
Man, but you are doing a fantastic job, Portress.
Thank
you.
When
I sent you that picture, that wasn't like a shame picture.
No.
Was like, look at how far you have come, man. If you don't feel like you have, look at this photo.
It was a fantastic reminder. So no, I thank you very much for that. And I'm looking like the reason that Bruce isn't here this week is because we're recording the show quite early. And if you're a subscriber over at patreon.com/HMP, get pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone, and you'll be getting this show early. So you're listening to this probably sometime on Thursday or Friday, as opposed to your regular Mondays like everyone else do. So you're going to get to the front of the class and whatnot. So that's what we're doing for you guys right now. So we're recording on a Thursday, so that's why Bruce is out this week and everything. So we're doing stuff super early, but that's a little advantage to you if you're a Patreon fan over there.
Prestige has its privileges. Am I right?
And let's talk about the other stuff then, because we got pre-show, post-show, and Dinger Zone. We have been doing the Andor 30 questions. They are dropping 3 bloody episodes on us every single week for 4 weeks in a row. Everybody,
I feel for you. I feel for you guys because you don't love Star Wars. Like you like Star Wars just fine, but you don't love it like I do. For me, it's like I cannot believe I live in a world where I'm getting a new Star Wars movie every single week. Is how it feels.
Pretty much.
And it's literally the best movies that Star Wars has ever made since the original trilogy. And it is not even close. And I don't know what next week is going to be like because I don't know how you beat the show this week. I have no idea how you beat the show that we saw this week. It's incredible.
I hope it gets super bloody.
For you and for Bruce, I feel for you because you're having to like mainline 90 minutes of Star Wars every week. And you're like, oh God, this feels like homework.
Hi, we'd like to talk to you about our trade federation. Oh, Jesus. What are we talking about?
Oh, no, my friend. No. There's way more to it than that. And I'm going to tell you why on Andor 30Q.
Boom, everybody. So you get that by going over to patreon.com/HMP, joining up at any level. And with that as well, I taken a break this week just because kind of started a new job here and everything, and I'm going to take one more week because I'm going on vacation. Again, that's why we're recording early here and everything. So after that, though, I will be coming back. And while I'm on my said vacation, I do plan to do a little writing and stuff. So I have some videos to come back and produce.
Nice.
When I'm ready to go. So not only will I be chilling out and working on my already tan. I had to go in and I tan myself up early this time and everything, just so I don't burn the hell out of myself in day one.
I was going to say, how are you as a tanner?
Fantastic.
Yeah, me too.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was about to say, I think you're probably about the same way, where you can just if and you want to, you can get plenty good dark, and I got that ability myself. So
I don't even mean to when it happens. I'm not kidding.
You look out and you're like, what? No, whew, all right, how about that? But yeah, so.
My girls are the whitest white. They're almost translucent.
I was about to say, yeah, they're kind of the whitey ladies.
That's what we're using. That's their mama. Their mama was the whitest, like porcelain china doll white.
They got that one for sure. Well, this week, everybody, we are talking our Mucho Ralph Macchio marathon. It's tough, but we're talking about Crossroads from 1986. I think if you were certainly within my neck of the woods, you've seen this movie a million times on WJCY on Saturdays at about 3 p.m. They'd always be playing some Crossroads in there at some point. But I can't remember watching it stem to stern many times.
You don't say.
No.
It didn't hold your attention all the way through, you said.
Well, there were commercials. And I had I had no such time for things. In the TBS Superstation, they're going to edit all the good stuff out of this one. So why, the hardcore nudity alone.
All that hardcore nudity.
Oh, you did. No, maybe I got a different cut. But we'll talk about all that. Blues man, though, you're a big blues guy, I would imagine, because you hate all the current stuff. So you're going into something, right?
But to be fair, the only reason why I don't like rock music, I don't like the same 30 songs of rock music that guys who are 20 years older than me listen to every single day. That is the stuff that makes me insane. I like the blues just fine, but you have to keep in mind I'm a suburban college boy I'm a college boy from a suburb in Connecticut. Like, I can only like the blues so much. Then it kind of gets like it would be weird if I was super into the blues, but I do have my favorite Robert Johnson song. I know the blues enough. I know the hits. And I do like those songs. I like them. If they're on in the background or whatever, and it's a white people bar, I'm like, I don't like this. But if it's the right circumstance, then yes, I do like it.
Duncan lost all the colors.
Well, there is nothing worse. Like the worst thing in the world to me, back when I used to go to bars. When the live band shows up, oh no, it's time to go. But even worse, live band shows up and it turns out that they're a white guy blues band. I'm out, way out. Or if they're a white guy funk band, also out. So So when I
give those people a trepidatious chance. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm always going to get on board, but I'll give it a shot, because every now and then, while I do agree that more often than not you would land correct, there's an odd chance out there every now and then that you could get a real wild ones. So I give them the benefit of a doubt, but I do be doubting if they're no good.
If it's like, I will tell you, there is one exception to this rule. Was when in the 90s, I was at the Double Door.
What?
God rest the Double Door. May it rest in peace. Great bar. This white guy blues band shows up. I'm about ready to leave. The dude gets up on stage, and he is a full-time trucker who also is a blues guy. And all his songs about the blues had to do with driving. And it was the greatest. He was amazing. I mean, amazing. And all his songs had to do with driving and being a trucker, and it was the best. And I had the night of my life.
This is what it's like to drive on Quaaludes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah. It was kind of, sort of like that. It's talking about how how much more truck stop speed do I have to take in order to get to my destination? Just the best. And so in that instance, that's the one exception that makes the rule. However, when I see Walter Hill's name come up at the beginning of this movie, I immediately give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because Walter Hill, he's got a crazy range.
Quite a legendary guy, and you're right that there's a range on the man for sure.
It's crazy. Like if people started naming off movies that he's like been a part of, whether it's producing or writing or directing, like it's insane. How is that the same guy?
Well, I don't know. I think Walter Hill is a big drinker. I think that's one of the few things I remember about
as
him.
Well. I believe so as well.
Drinky poo. All right, let's get into it. Here's the IMDb plot line for Crossroads. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. A wannabe blues guitar virtuoso finds an old blues player and hopes he can teach him a long-lost song by the legendary musician Robert Johnson. This is written by John Fusco. He would go on to write Young Guns. Yeah.
Hey.
Hidalgo. Man, that's a lot of people like that.
I like
one.
Hidalgo.
Yeah.
People poop on that movie. That's a good movie.
A lot of people enjoy that one. And, it's got its ups and downs, but The Forbidden Kingdom, you remember that?
I don't know that movie.
We covered it. That's how well you remember it. I believe so. It's kind of a martial artsy kind of thing. It's okay. It's okay. And he's done a ton.
So hold on. You're burying the lead here, Portress.
What?
What did you think of the blurb of the plot line from IMDb this week?
It's fine. I'd say that's.
I would say letter grade.
Oh, I'm gonna say it's a B- because I wouldn't call him a blues guitar virtuoso. He's a classical guitar virtuoso who wants to play the blues. So that's a little niggle there, but as they say, but no, it's fine.
Okay.
This is, of course, like I said, directed by Walter Hill. Directed The Warriors, 48 Hours, Streets of Fire. Little tiny things like that. Insane. He had little bits to do with things like Alien and just you name it. The man's
he's literally everywhere.
He was one of those guys that people went to. Yeah.
If you watch a movie in the 80s, you've seen his work.
He's definitely out there. This is starring Ralph Macchio, Joe Seneca, Jamie Gertz. Is that did I write? I'm going to say Roger Judd. I think I wrote that incorrectly in my notes here. Guitarist Steve Vai and Miles Dyson himself, Joe Morton.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's all I can think of is Miles Dyson's here, everybody. This man's going to ruin the world here very soon. In 1990, what was it, 3? When was the first? They said like this is the date that Armageddon was supposed to be in the OG Terminator.
I couldn't tell you.
Gosh.
I mean, you got me on the spot. You're jeopardying me here. I can't remember.
Yeah, Ken Jennings is hating both of us right now. I think you guys are just dumb. There's some guy on, I don't know if he's still there, but he was for a couple of weeks on Jeopardy. The Jeopardy, I think he just got out actually. The Jeopardy champion would have won a costume contest wearing nothing but what his street clothes are and look exactly like Sheldon Cooper.
Wow.
I mean, dead to rights. You'd be like, that's his stunt double. That's his stand-in, right? That's the guy that you got to stand, like maybe a little shorter, but that's his stand-in. It was unbelievable. Watch that if you're Jeopardy heads out there. They're screaming. They're like, he's so right. He looked just like the guy. But let's talk about this dumb movie. Because like I said, I'm a blues fan. I'm kind of a like. The bug kind of hit me early, just being a guy who plays guitar and stuff like that. And you want to, like I did with movies and everything else, you always kind of want to go, okay, what do I like? Well, what are the people that I like? What are those people, and just kind of keep going backwards like that. That's how I, would find, new movies and directors and stuff like that. I go, who's Tarantino like? Who does, Steven Spielberg like? You go through different generations and you can broaden your scope and horizon a whole bunch that way. And I did that, a lot with music and stuff as well, because my parents are boomers, so I took all of like their music and stuff. So everything from like 60s and 70s, I am just like ridiculous with all that. So when like blues came up, it just seemed like more of a different, a progression of all the other stuff that you'd kind of heard before. And like, hey, this is where all this stuff kind of started. And then you just kind of go down that rabbit hole and everything. And of course, Robert Johnson is one of those, is the OG of them all and everything. So that's where or at least for me, that's where I kind of directly went. I'm like, all right, who's the guy? Who's the guy? And it was like Robert Johnson. I'm like, okay, listen to Robert Johnson. And like you said, you've heard so you have listened to at least some Robert Johnson and stuff, right?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I've listened to. I think there's just the one album, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much just like any album that you'll get. Pretty much has the collection on them and everything.
Right. Hot tamales in the red hot. Yeah, they got them for sale. Like that's the only song that I really know from Robert Johnson.
I love how like all of this is depicted because the way that he's set up in this room and everything is absolutely accurate to how they had him set up facing the wall and everything like that.
Dude,
it looks real weird, but I love it because it's so very specific and correct.
You're acting like I haven't seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou before, but I have. So I know how they used to record singers back then.
So it was like I like the way that they shoot it and everything, all the kind of backspace for it. And again, that was one thing that I didn't quite remember is how much of kind of the Robert Johnson backstory and stuff that we got. I thought this, and as far as like putting that story to film, I mean, how much better are you going to really do than that? I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's not amazing, but like it's not the greatest of stories either.
I think all of the front stuff in this movie is the best part of the movie. Like Robert Johnson, all that stuff. The problem with this movie is, by the way, can let me ask you a serious question here that has nothing to do with the movie. Does it feel like whenever Bruce isn't here that you and I have kind of a Sklar Brothers vibe happening?
I'll be thinking it now.
I was kind of feeling that earlier when we were going back and forth with stuff. I was like, man, this feels very Sklar Brothers-y to me, which I'm totally fine with. I love the Sklar Brothers. It's just, how they kind of like speak over each other, but are really feeding into each other also, like that kind of thing.
At the same time, we've been friends for over a decade at this point, bud. It's damn near 20 years at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. We've even done the show weekly for 10 years. And then, on top of that.
This is year 11. This is year 11. We knew each other for years before that.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've got a pretty good little thing going on here, everybody. At least
it's just so surprising to me. Like, because I was literally like, oh, this is very Sklar Brothers-y. Good for us. Okay. So to get back to it.
Bobbing and weaving, baby. That's what we do.
He just took his way off track. So what I love the beginning of this movie. Like I think that part's great.
Great sepia tone here, kind of a vibe and everything. And it looks exactly
fun, like man.
Yeah.
It's fun. And like there's enough of what if you know anything about Robert Johnson, there's enough of that in there. So like deals with the devil and the Crossroads and all of that. And like that part is great. And then who should show up but our man of the month,
our littlest paisan Ralph Macchio.
And it's just because I'll be honest with you, man. Like I wanted this movie to be okay because I don't want to be the guy who's like the grump for a month, which I know like I have a tendency to be. When I don't like something, I really don't like something. I'm not like you and Bruce that way. Like I will immediately be like, wah, wah, and this is the worst actor in the world, and I hate it. Like I know, yes, exactly. So like I wanted to like this movie, and this movie would not let me like it as much as I was like, but don't you think we could be friends? This movie was like, no, and then it pushed me right into my locker.
You might say it pushed you just like Joe Seneca pushed old Ralph Macchio out of the way and says, I don't want nothing to do with you, kid. You see, you like this movie way more than you even suspect, I think.
So, but like, there's a lot about this movie. Like I like the old harmonica musician. I think he's pretty good. He's clearly an actor too. Like he's not just a musician.
Well, and here's the thing though, of all instruments, the easiest one of all of them to fake is the harmonica.
Right, because it's easy to look like you're playing.
Yeah, you put your hands right over, you cup it correctly, and as long as you're going along with the tune and everything, and keeping your mouth right about where it should be, and even then you can still loosey goosey on the kind of stuff. But
right. But in that part, and for me, like I know that part's important to you. For me, that's kind of like I don't give a shit. Like I don't care if it looks like they're playing the instruments. really. Like, at least don't make me feel like, oh, our audience is stupid, so this is how he's going to play this instrument. Like, I know when somebody is at least attempting to play the thing that they're playing on screen.
Right.
Like, I know that much. That's all you need to do for me to be okay with it.
He's not playing it with his nose. That's as good as it gets.
And done.
He's not putting it under his arm. That's not how harmonicas work, sir.
But so like that, and that part's fine. But man, there are a million people you could put in this movie that are a better option than Ralph Macchio.
So will you wait till the end of the show, sir?
like why does it have to be a white kid? Actually, I know why, because it's 1986. That's why it has to be a white kid, and he has to be a famous white kid and a white kid who can somewhat play guitar.
Yeah.
But what I don't like, if this was made today and you don't make that kid who's going to Juilliard a nerdy black kid,
yeah,
like, you are going to be laughed out of the movie theater.
Well, no, I agree now, but because you got me thinking now. In 1986, and again, we'll have other parts for later in the show, but like, I'm trying to think of like a young black actor that we would put in this.
Well,
role.
this is a problem, because in 1986, there's not a ton, like, everybody who's a black kid who would fit this is like a sitcom actor.
Yeah.
Or, like working next to Matlock. You know what I mean? Like, they're not like, you could probably put Denzel in this. Denzel would be awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, even in 86 though, Denzel's like, 32.
Yeah, but he's black. Like, he could play an 18-year-old and you wouldn't know. He could play a 15-year-old and you wouldn't know.
No, this is about right. I mean, this is close enough
he's
to Glory time.
No, this is St. Elsewhere. This is when he's on St. Elsewhere, and he looks like a baby in St. Elsewhere. He's like 22.
Well, so is Ralph Macchio in this. If we're all fair and everything, he's about that kind of age.
He just looks like a baby.
Yeah, he still looks like he's 12. Anytime that Ralph Macchio gets a beer, I'm just like, hey, who's not IDing this guy? And I like how the one time he's just like, I don't have an ID, and he just goes like, well, one can't kill you. I'm like, what,
oh my Lord,
what world do we live in where that happens anymore?
there isn't one.
Well, and it's a good thing. That's how we shouldn't just be giving beers out to people that we go, hell, he might be a minor, but what harm could it do? It probably harm.
This Ralph Macchio looks like one of the good ones. Let's give him a beer.
He is in the white bar in this particular portion, so that's fine. If he was that's where the movie falls apart. If it was a young black kid, no way they'd feed him a beer if he didn't have his ID on him.
Definitely not.
I'd be like, get out of here, young sir. I love the stupid conceit of it. All right, and how
go on.
Well, yeah, but see, I love how I hate it, because it's not good. But that's why I like it, because it's not good. The idea of like, so we open up and we're looking. He's going through all of his blues stuff. We're showing you, not telling you, but we're also telling you he's a blues guy, right? He knows all about this kind of stuff. He's going in there, and eventually he goes, all right, I got to find this lost blues guy here that knew Robert Johnson, who has this secret song and everything. He finds out that there's this guy called, obviously in the song Crossroads, Robert Johnson's Crossroads, he sings about a guy named Willie Brown. And so he's trying to find this guy named Willie Brown. He's looked through all of these books. The hilarious part is also that this, 22-year-old kid is doing some of the best detective work with only a library card. I really enjoyed that. It's just like, hey, listen, I'm becoming one of the most top-notch forensic experts ever, and it turns out that in the exact same city that I'm in, that old man is sitting in some retirement home. And he goes in, he tries to visit the guy, and they say, no, we're not taking him. And his go-to is like, all right, tell you what, I'm going to get a job here. It is fantastic, to where he just goes, I only have an inkling. You don't even know. He's not for certain. I think if we're lucky, he's got maybe a 5%, possibility that this might be the dude.
Well,
but you go through a drug test and a physical.
Hold on, because this is why the conceit is bullshit. Is because he hears him play harmonica and immediately knows it's him. Like, there's no question that it is actually him. Like, he knows just from those few notes that old man plays.
Yep, that's it. That's the dude.
And immediately knows it's him, and immediately knows that he needs to get a job so he can hear that 30th Robert Johnson song that no one has ever heard before.
I like the silly conceit of that, though. That, like, we got like one, secret song that's kind of like floating around in the ether and stuff like that. I think that, at least as far as a stupid movie ideas go, you can do worse than that.
Oh, look, man, like, again, the machinations of the movie, the clockwork of the movie isn't my problem with the movie at all. The problem with this movie is that it's from 1986. And so you're really like dumb to the like, they think that they're making something really special here when they make this movie in 1986, where they're like, oh, listen, and we as white people are going to explain the blues to the people who are going to be watching this movie, and we're doing such a good job at it that even black people love this movie, is literally what they're thinking as they're making this movie. And it's not that.
Well, yeah.
It's definitely not that. And I will tell you, living the insular life that I did at that time, I probably would have fallen for it, except that there was no way in hell I was going to watch a movie where I watched the Karate Kid play guitar. Like, there was no way I was ever going to watch that movie.
See, you didn't get to the straw hat portion of it. I think that's where your problem was.
Once
he puts the hat on, like, that kind of changes the whole vibe.
Man, and now his name's Lightning. That old black guy keeps calling him Lightning. He's a different character.
That one kind of came out of nowhere, the nickname for Lightning out all of a sudden. Where it was just like, I don't believe that came from anything. He's just like, nah, Lightning. Sure, why not? That's your nickname now. Real bizarre.
Yep.
I do love Willie Brown's scheming.
Suit.
Well, his suit. His suits are amazing. He looks so good in all of his bull crap. It is just beautiful.
Man, those patent leather shoes with that brown suit. Get out of here. He looks
awesome.
Amazing. He looks amazing.
Always setting up and ready to go and everything. And I love how he's just like, all right, you going to pay for the first half? I'm going to pay for the back half. And then they get to the back half and he's just like, hey, I ain't got no money, young blood. What's going on? He's like, you piece of garbage, old man.
But he's worse than that because he does actually have the money. That's the worst part about this movie. It made me so mad. He pulls
out this big wad that's got
the end of the movie.
Got two, but he's got at the train station he's got the two 20s, and then he's got a whole bunch of fake ass just like scratch paper,
newspaper that he clipped out. That's the same size as a bill.
He's just like, there you go, young blood. I got plenty of money. He just goes, you stupid old man. There's only $40 in here. It's like, that's not going to get you 20 minutes down the road, pal.
But that's the worst part about this movie to me, is that he actually did have the money on him. He was just lying. Because at the end of the movie, he pulls out a whole bunch of money from a bag that he's had the entire time. And he gives 100 to Jamie Gertz, who we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah.
But like, the fact that so you guys went through all of this. Like, you literally went through all of this hell for no reason at all. Because you had that. So was your plan to make Danielson's life so hard that he becomes a blues man naturally by the end? Is that what the plan was?
I like that idea. It's just like, listen, this old white boy ain't had no struggles in his entire life. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna make his life a living hell. And so by the time he ends to this, he is gonna have lived the life that he have needed to live in order to properly deliver the blues out to everybody. I like that idea. That he's purposely sending him through hell so he can be a proper blues musician.
I mean, that is the only thing that makes sense, right? Because why else would he pretend he doesn't have any money and then at 85 years old walk from country road to country road, and what those shoes have to hurt his feet like crazy. I don't care how great he kept his feet. Like, being 85 years old, walking asphalt for how long did they have to go? They had to go to Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're thumbing rides and stuff, which in 1986, yikes, that's scary. But they have to walk a lot of the way too. And I can't imagine, as hot as it is on that asphalt, like you start hitting those once you get past the Mason-Dixon line, because it's like summer when they start out.
Oh yeah.
Like, man.
I think it's a lot like when asked about his weird habits and stuff like that, Howie Mandel goes, like he was doing something that would be the opposite of what you would think a germaphobe would do. And Howie's response was, "Oh, you don't understand. I'm crazy."
Yeah.
I think that's Willie Brown a little bit. It's like, no. He knows he got the money. He knows he can solve all these problems, but he crazy. And he's just like, you know what? We're going to walk. We're going to hoof it just because it just feels like the right thing to do, I guess.
He has like full-time veneers that he wears in his mouth all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me. Like you're supposed to pull out your veneers. He never does. They're in his mouth 24/7.
Well, he just wants to smile at you.
It's crazy to me. Like even in your sleep, you wear them. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
insane, dude.
Listen. No one ever said he wasn't conceited.
Look, man. I know the last like 20 years of Howie Mandel is like a difficult thing to obstacle course to get through.
Yeah.
But when he first hit the comedy scene, man, he was a killer. Like I can remember being like 10 years old and thinking, this guy has got it all figured out, because his act was basically like, what if Steve Martin kept going?
Yeah.
And it was incredible. His act was so good. And now he's him, and who knows what happened to him along the way. But
yeah, it's a weird case. It's
man,
an interesting life, that one. Jamie Gertz is in this bad boy. Who I would like first have like my first big exposure to her obviously was like as the mean broad in Twister, who when you watch Twister again you're just like, oh, she's actually a normal person. Yeah. She's like, I want to get the hell out of here. It's like, what are you doing? I need to leave. This is not good. And you're an idiot. She's a smart one in that movie.
Yeah, she's the smart one in real life too. She now owns the Atlanta Hawks.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. She married a billionaire.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember hearing something like that.
Her and her husband are listed as the primary owners of the Atlanta Hawks.
My goodness.
Must be nice, Jamie Gertz.
Jamie, we
she put in the time. She had to pretend that she was falling in love with Ralph Macchio. No one should have to do that.
No one should be forced upon. Now, speaking of force, though, the super creepy hotel guy here and everything with her. Give this guy an Oscar. He creeped the shit out of me. I was just like, oh man, this almost feels too real. This character.
It's so funny, man, because seeing him in this movie, literally all I thought was, man, they don't make him like that guy anymore. Like you don't see guys that look like that anymore in real life. Like he thinks that he's getting somewhere with this girl. It's like, yikes.
Well, and there's moments and stuff too where you're just like, is she gonna do stuff? What's happening here? It's like, this girl, how desperate are you, lady? This is no good. Walk away. You could roll some very high class guys, but this is not the hotel to be doing it in. I don't think. I could be wrong.
I think like I like Jamie Gertz as an actress. I always have, because there's something about her where you just like believe that she's the person she is from movie to movie.
She's pretty, but she's natural. She's naturalistic pretty. She does it like it's not overly done. She looks like a pretty girl that you could see in real life, I think.
She looks like the girl next door until you see her in real life, and you're like, oh, she's like one of the like most beautiful women in the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of like thing that that kind of hits you a little bit late, Yeah. But she's
great. Yeah, I think she's great in this movie. She's not my favorite part of this movie, but I do like her in it. I think that she's believable as her character, which is tough because it's not like Macchio's given her a lot to work with.
Hey, what are you talking about? I like the guitar. Here's a couple of chords.
Man.
So we try to give him a little bit of depth though, because we go to like the Juilliard. He's in Juilliard for guitar, everybody. That's how you know that he's like quite the musician, which I'll at least give credit as far as this goes, right? at least this is a good like premise idea of like this guy's a classical guitarist but wants to play blues or something like that. And this would be how all of that would be looked upon, you know, within that thing. His guy at Juilliard with his stuffy bow tie and everything would be looking at him going like, "Oh, you want to go play in that Rube music over there and all that kind of stuff."
But that's the 80s of it all with this movie, because, you know, I have friends who went to Juilliard. The professors at Juilliard aren't like that, where they're like, "Oh, you're playing that rock and or roll music? How dare you?" Like, they're not like that there. It's like, "Oh, you somehow got interested in the blues. That's really, really cool. Who are you into?" Like, that's what the professors at Juilliard would be like. And so to have this like stuffy, like, "Why I never" type of professor is a day, like, it's the difference between the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where he's getting bullied in high school by, you know, like the football jock, and like it's like we're in Archie comics, you know, like from the 50s.
28-year-old what's his nuts coming in
right
there.
right versus the Tom Holland Spider-Man, where the person who actually is bullying you is the rich kid that you could like kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, that's the way it goes. And so that's what it feels like to me watching this movie, of like, oh, this movie is still made like they used to make movies, like the old way they used to make movies, because the professor at this music observatory is, everybody who's watching this movie thinks like, "Oh, you're really stuffy if you went to Juilliard." But it's literally the exact opposite, where you're like, that guy might be homeless, or he might be the best professor at the school. Like, it's literally how it actually works.
I had like a weird teacher that was kind of like, we had a this is regular community college, everybody. But like I had a teacher who had like he was in a wheelchair. He was in like a motorized wheelchair, and he had Parkinson's, and so he had a lot of stuff going against him, you know, as far as being, you know, a teacher and everything, just to be able to get your stuff across. And he would curse at the class like crazy. Well, not at the class, but just cursed a lot in general.
Out loud. Yeah.
Yeah, he would just be like, "And this motherfucker right here," but like, and he would just start going into stuff. And eventually, though, he did, like, because somebody was like, "Why are you cursing all the time?" He's like, "Hey, listen, I got all these things that are going on, as you can obviously tell. Sometimes it's tough for me to, you know, get all this kind of thing and you know, all my thoughts and everything together. And sometimes it's tough for you to pay attention to me because there's just so much other stuff going on. So I just kind of pepper in some language and stuff. And guess what? It gets your attention." And like you said, back, and you're like, yeah, he was really actually quite right about that.
Clearly, somebody read a Lenny Bruce book.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, if I pepper in this
dirty stuff, and influence people.
We were like, oh, okay, yeah. I honestly, given his age and everything, I would almost guarantee that. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like that probably was something, you know. And he was one of those like, here, passing around his dissertation that was like in a book form and everything like that and all that shit. He was like one of those guys, like real smart cat and everything, but had to curse it up real good just to kind of make sure everybody was on their toes and paying attention, because you know, there are other distractions that you could be going like, what's this wheelchair all about?
Sure. Whereas I saw a movie called Pump Up the Volume and was like, that guy who's super cool is reading that book from that guy who's a comedian whose name I've heard before, but I don't know anything about.
Oh. A couple other this Robert Judd guy as Scratch. I love this guy. His face is just fantastic. He looks like he is out of time.
His teeth, I don't know if that's like a prosthetic or those are his actual teeth. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no, and I just like, part of me doesn't want to know either. Like, because it's just like it suits him and this character and everything, and he's super creepy. And Joe Morton has like his assistant there and everything. He gets a little. I don't know why they had to split up into two characters. Maybe there's like reshoots or something, and they couldn't. They couldn't get Robert Judd back to do other things. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know why, but they definitely made a choice there of like, you know what? I guarantee you that's what it is, Adam. I think you're absolutely right.
I think actually, now that I'm looking at it, I think Robert Judd died during this thing, because it looks like he died on January 20th, 1986. So he died during this bad boy, and they're like, we got more stuff to do, so we need to get.
Now I'm the devil.
That makes more sense. But I guess they were just like, we've already got this other stuff in the bag. No reason to go back and shoot the whole thing. We'll just we'll make an assistant. There you go. That's the ticket.
And I gotta say, man, seeing Dyson in this movie, it was like, oh man, like so that guy, like he's made his own pact with the devil because he looks exactly the same. Smash cut to 40 years later.
Yeah.
Like when you see him in a movie now, you're like, oh, that's the same. That literally looks like
it's
the same
Miles
guy.
Dyson with tiny little bits more wrinkles and a little bit of gray hair. That's
a little.
It is so. It is like, oh, this guy. You'd look at you'd probably a quick glance mid-50s.
Yeah.
You'd think,
Yeah.
and he's born in 1947. So,
but he's also got the Morgan Freeman thing where he looked older probably when he was younger than he actually was.
Oh yeah, Miles Dyson looks like he's like in his 40s, but he was probably like 29 or something.
Yeah,
maybe no, a little older than that, but nevertheless, he's actually quite good in this movie.
I love him. So. I look, man. For the most part, everybody in this movie is fine, with the exception of one person.
You hear that, Joe Seneca? You son of a bitch.
We're tired of you coasting on your good looks, Joe Seneca.
Sorry, sir. Like that guy's so dapper. God, I love him so much. What a great character.
That brown suit, man. It's like I could not get over it. I know I could never pull it off. No white man could.
No.
But if you're an elderly black man, you sure as hell can.
All day long. I was just like
great looking, like just a great look. Just great. And the other part of this movie, unfortunately, that I don't really love that much is the script. Like usually a movie like this, I like the script at least, but the script in this is so blind to what it is. You know what I mean?
It's very formulaic and not in necessarily a good way. Because there's a lot of times when you can watch a movie that has a formula. And even despite, like martial arts movies, for example, martial arts movies are very formulaic in a lot of ways. It's like we're setting up, here's the thing, here's how you do it, and that's
don't say.
You finish those out. These movies can be that exact same way if you're not careful, and that's what this one does. It just goes like, oh, here's the thing, but it doesn't have what the martial arts movies that are good have, which is something to differentiate them from those other ones, while they all still be doing that A, B, then C kind of thing. If what they're doing in A, B, and C is wildly different than everybody else, it becomes good. This just has that same A, B, and C that you would see in any type of movie. You could make this about country music if you wanted to. Same diff.
It's also white people dumb. Zach Galifianakis has the best joke about this in the outtakes to his Between Two Ferns movie where he's talking to John Legend. Do you know the moment I'm talking about?
No, I don't think so.
He's talking to John Legend and he goes, Zach Galifianakis goes, I would like to congratulate you on the movie. What's the name of the movie that won all the awards a couple of years ago? With
Selma was the one that he won for, right?
No, it's the musical that's set in L.A.
La La Land.
La La Land.
Yeah. And
Zach Galifianakis says to John Legend, "I'd like to congratulate you on your Oscar for La La Land." And John Legend goes, "Thank you." And he goes, "A movie that will always be remembered for white people explaining jazz to black people. So thank you." And John Legend loses his mind. And that is literally what this movie feels like to me. It's like white people trying to tell black people why the blues is great. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why is this so blind? Why don't you know what you're doing right now? Yeah. Like, I know that you're looking at this from a perspective of, we're actually trying to enlighten people on the blues and on, maybe we're not all that different, you and me.
Well, I think it's for the dumb white people that are watching this movie that just go, I don't know nothing about that.
I know that they think that that's what they're making, but they're not. they're actually making a movie where they're like, listen, we're trying to explain why the blues is great to white people, but also black people are really going to like this movie too.
Oh, I think they think that's going to happen for sure. But just because it's like, it's this old blues legend and all this kind of stuff. Surely you'll enjoy this. Maybe not though. Guitar playing wise, I want to touch on that for a minute as somebody who plays guitar. That's
awesome because I need to go to the bathroom. So please.
Go ahead. It's okay. Like as far as guitar playing in movies and everything goes, this is pretty good. as far as being able to fake something and make it look halfway decent. Is it perfect? No, but it is far better than it's got any right to be. And I've seen so many things that are so far worse than this. But good on Ralph Macchio, and every now and then the couple of hand doubles that they got rolling in, which are pretty fun. We're just like, nope, that's not him. That's not him, certainly. But there's just a couple of that going on. And then Steve Vai. For whatever reason, Steve Vai was kind of that guy in the mid late 80s and stuff there, where he was like, oh, here's this crazy new guitarist and everything. And
I'm going to sound like a dummy here.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who Steve Vai is.
And
I know the name,
yeah,
but I don't know how I would know him.
I don't either, other than the fact that he was just a guitar player, and like his big kind of claim to fame was, or at least, and I don't know if he was technically the guy that did this, but he was certainly the one that made it kind of famous or infamous, if you will, is the 7-string guitar, having just, that one extra. I don't remember if it's a high E or low E. Maybe it was a high.
None of that matters to me. Like, is he in a band? Does he have a hit song?
You got me.
Okay.
See, that's and the weird part is I'm in that same thing where like I've never given a shit to mm-hmm. He's definitely not somebody. There's weird guitar guys like him and like Yngwie Malmsteen and like any other.
No, I know him
weird,
too.
Like the Shredders and stuff like that, I could give a shit. It's like to me, it's just like, can you find me a melody somewhere in there, pal?
And he's the guy who he's playing for the Black Man's Soul at the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's silly, but I love I want to hear those guitars. You'll see guys do this online every now and then, is take like either like rock stuff, especially like heavy metal or whatever, and then take out all the distortion. Mm-hmm. So all you're hearing is just like the actual just raw ass strings and stuff like that. And you really just hear how kind of silly and flat a lot of metal music is if you're not, putting it through 8 billion chains of effects and whatnot. I feel like this is a movie where I'd love to see all those effects off and just hear the cling, clang, bing, bing, bing. Where it's just like, oh, if you don't have like wild and crazy feedback going through this flanger or anything, that shit doesn't happen, huh?
So let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. So if you just, let's say, like you just like did a Wikipedia search on Robert Johnson, mm-hmm. right? Like you just read like you read a couple of things on Robert Johnson. And then after that, you listen to the song "The Devil Went Down to Georgia."
Right.
Is it the same as watching this movie? I mean, it's about the same experience.
Yeah. Well, you're not that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah. I like that. I think that's you can. You can get this movie done in 4 minutes.
You kind of can. You kind of can. And unless you're really, really interested in like some like Jamie Gertz side boob. Yeah. Like that's about all you're missing.
Yeah, even Macchio don't take his shirt off in this movie. Not
Would
that
you?
No. Well, I mean, listen, if you got to get the ladies in there somehow because they're not coming for the blues. Y'all know how them ladies sign up for those blues films.
Man, it's right up there with like Monty Python. How much
it's just like the blues. Excuse me, I got to hear
talking about your fantasy football team. Like trying to think of like the most like things that just make women run away.
Guys, are they ever going to come out with a big Bill Bronzy movie? That's what I really want to see. I think he's due for a biopic. It's just like,
man, you know what? This is a great topic of discussion. Like, if you are listening to this, try to like write to us and let us know what you think is like the ultimate of like things that guys do just because they like it. And it has nothing to do with women at all. Like, I think fantasy football's in there. The blues is definitely in there. Monty Python is definitely in there. But I'm trying to think of something else that would hit that list of like a top 10 list. So if you have ideas, let me know. Like write to us. I would love to know.
Jazz is pretty dude heavy.
It is. However, though, but jazz is sexy too.
That's true.
Like,
yeah, you can sex up jazz. That's true.
You totally can.
But you got to be at the right. Like you're rolling the dice on the jazz, though. I think you got to be careful.
Not if it's West Coast jazz.
Nah,
like if you're listening,
you got to be careful though. if you can walk into something.
I see. If you're listening to like Dave Brubeck at like a coffee shop or something, like that's like the ultimate right there. Like I don't care who you are, lady, man.
But it's like, whatever. If ever I'm listening to like the jazz station on Sirius, it's like, for whatever reason, whenever they get to a singer, I'm just like, I gotta go.
But I mean, I'm like, unless it's somebody amazing.
Yeah, like you got to be real. You got to be like real good. Yeah. But there's sometimes we're like, Bob. I'm like, nope, peace, y'all. I'm going to another channel. What's the punk channel at? Yeah, I think. I mean,
speaking of which, I got a recommendation for you for punk music.
Okay.
You've probably heard of these guys already. I just found out about them. They unfortunately have the dumbest band name I've ever heard, but I love their music. They are the Viagra Boys.
Okay, the Viagra Boys. All right.
They are that is the dumbest name for a band ever. But they've got a song called, like, this is the first thing you should listen to, Punk Rock Loser. It is the jam. And they have like 10 other songs where I'm like, yep. Punk, they're the Viagra Boys.
Gotcha.
Punk Rock Loser.
Well, and
they have awesome videos.
Well, I've got one for you then, sir. We're going punk rock for punk rock recommendations here. I'm going to give you a brand spanking new punk rock band out of Atlanta, Georgia.
What?
A all black guy band.
No.
All young black dudes in a band called The Paradox. And they fucking rock. They are so good. This like kind of like early 2000s pop punk stuff. They are so much fun. I'm
totally going to check them out.
They got a cease and desist order from Subaru.
Whoa, that's great.
So they're kind of starting to blow up and stuff. I think they're going to go on the I think they just got invited on the Warped Tour and everything. So those little guys are blowing up. They were just like seriously, like a year ago, we're just like outside of like abandoned grocery stores in Atlanta, just playing little sets and stuff.
Wow, how do you choose?
Very cool guys.
That's awesome, man. Unlike you, I'm actually going to check them out. That's awesome.
Listen, I wrote down your thing here. The Viagra Boys, Punk Rock Loser. I wrote it down.
Nice. If you get a chance, we'll watch the video too. But
we'll do.
You don't have to. Now, it's really good.
If we had to go back and recast this movie, because I feel like for some reason you want to recast this film, who would you have making this movie?
Literally any young black person is recast as Ralph Macchio. He is and even you must admit that he is the weak point of this movie, and it's not even close.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I would say he's a close second to the script.
The script is number 2.
Yeah,
but man, he's the wrong person, man. Like he is just terrible in this movie, and he brings the movie down instantly just by being in it. It's not his fault, but he's not the right person for this movie.
Well, while my choice, not a black guy, but not a white guy either, but a guy I do knows how to play guitar, and I think could probably do something like this is Oscar Isaac. Guy plays guitar quite well, and good actor. So I could see it.
I mean, maybe. But like it really, I mean, it's the blues, man. Like it should be.
No, you're probably not wrong. I mean, it's fine though. All right, movies come in 2 forms: art or fart. This is going to surprise everybody. Sean,
art with a capital A.
Oh my! Well, put that in the thing. I'm going to edit the point. Sean right here.
Well, no. Let me. I mean, this is just pure shit. Like this movie is straight garbage. I love the beginning. I love the opening to this movie for sure. I love that a white guy saves a black man's soul by playing the blues. That's amazing. I love that the black guy is a devil. That's great. This movie is just.
I do like how he just goes like, "Hey, I did this deal with the devil and everything, but I don't want to do it no more."
Right. You know how I kept that money from you that I've had this entire time? I'm trying to do the same thing with the devil.
Yeah, when you really think about it, Willie Brown's kind of a dick.
He is a dick in this movie, but he's our dick.
He's lovable, so you can't quite hate him too much because he does have that like, oh, come on, everybody, I'm just having a good time. It's like, I hate your guts, Willie. You're such a jerk. This is this is a slight fart for me. I'm not going to say it's absolutely bad, but it's one that's if you're riding in the car, you're going to be, come on, buddy. What? Jeez. You roll down the window to air it out a little bit, but you're not punching him in the face or nothing like that. I don't know why I had to, qualify it as well as I did, but there we go. That is it, everybody. If you thought that we were done with Ralph Macchio, you came to the wrong podcast because we got so much Macchio, it's going to be unbelievable. I don't know how this next one's going to go. This is the biggest gamble of all of them. So at least with this one, though, with the next one, with next week, you've got at least one good actor. You've got at least one good actor with John Lithgow, right? That's something. We're talking about Distant Thunder from 1988. Do I really know what this movie's about? No, I do not. I know it stars Ralph Macchio and who did I just say? My brain is
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow. I was there 2 seconds ago. You'd think I would have remembered. And John Lithgow. Outside of that, I'm not really quite sure, but we're going to be checking all that out next week, and we're hoping that we can just talk Sean down from the ledge and just.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. Although I will say we should make Bruce watch this movie twice.
That's true. Just
he's the one. He kind of talked you into all of this, and then was like, "Oh, and Crossroads is a very good movie," and it's like, no, it's not.
He was kind of supposed to be my backup today, and that kind of fell out.
I even said it then when it was suggested by Bruce to see this amazing movie, because this was literally like the second thing that you guys brought up for a 5-week Ralph Macchio tour de force, and the fact that he didn't even have to watch it, like. He should be forced to watch this movie twice back to back.
We need to give him an assignment of another Ralph Macchio film to watch that we won't watch, but he'll have to watch it and do a book report. Got to treat him like all the kids know. Like, hey, write a book report about whatever this next Ralph Macchio flick that you didn't watch.
I want a book report on my desk by Tuesday.
That'll do it for this episode of HMP, everybody. Sean, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
Oh, man, where can't you? I'm all over the place, man. Why don't you go to our HMP YouTube channel? Because you're going to be able to see a whole bunch of stuff there. Stuff that Adam does, this podcast. We're making some hay. We're flapping lips talking about maybe doing Poker Face. But since you're going on that cruise, maybe we don't do that, or maybe we hold off on doing that till later.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, so do check all of that out. And of course, if you're a Patreon subscriber and or if you're not, for heaven's sake, please head on over to patreon.com/HMP and check us out on Star Wars 30 Questions.
If you want to hear the opposite,
baby. Yeah.
If you want to hear the opposite of how I was on this episode of this show, listen to our 30 Questions Andor, where I am glowing. I'm positively glowing.
And if you think that I'm positively glowing, you can blow it out your ass, because I'm going in the opposite. Maybe not completely in the opposite direction, but I'm at least giving a little bit of.
You're not a huge fan of the show for two reasons. One is because everyone's just heaping praise, and you immediately are like, "Well, then I don't like it." And then the other thing is,
I like the first season a whole bunch. So.
And then you have to mainline the show, which is just no fun and feels like homework. I get it.
No, it's true. But we'll get to all of that kind of good stuff over there on the Dinger Zone. That'll do it for this episode of HMP. Join us next week for more Mucho Ralph Macchio Marathon with Distant Thunder from 1998 for Sweet Sean's and Kovacs from the internet. The Aspen Bruce Leslie. I'm Adam Porter. Be a dirty baby. Leave a comment for your mom.